Don't look up in the sky.
Especially not ours. I tell you, I woke up at like 8:30 this morning. It was dark like at 4 in the morning. It was dark like a winter morning. It was so dark, I actually videotaped it. There was like no sun at all. I couldn't believe it. No wonder
I woke up at like 10 and it was like all clouded over. I figured like they couldn't have counted. I don't know. Do they start early in the morning or maybe they have a new program schedule?
I actually have a video from last year.
Video from last year?
This Skype thing is fun. Yeah, I actually have a video from last year posted on my YouTube channel. Find it here first. And of Montreal in the early morning. It was right at dawn, and it's flying all over the place. And I know that Aaron's got this great. Aaron has this great the Chemtrail Network. There's so many videos coming out lately.
Chemtrail Research Network. Yeah, he was a big chemtrail hunter. He was doing time lapses a lot last year. Me too. I was on the balcony all the time, taking footage every day. And then after a while, I kind of started to see. To me, it looked like I could kind of see what was going on. At least I was able to identify 3 different types of clouds that they seemed to be seeding. One was this kind of cumulus cloud that just goes poof, and then it just gets huge and it just covers the whole sky quickly. It seemed to dry out the air. And another one was a kind of oily haze that would spread, and then usually we'd have rain the next day. And there was a third kind. I can't remember what it was off. Oh, yeah, the third one. They're like weird stringy ones. Like the contrail actually bends. I mean, this is totally bizarre. If it was water vapor, it would be straight, right? But this would actually go squiggly like silly string. And that's just too weird. So that we said that's the third category. I mean, at least, we saw those 3 different kinds. But, Friday, Good Friday, it was clear, totally clear. And
Easter too, it was beautiful. I took some pictures of the natural clouds. I guess because they were busy worshiping, like, their fertility goddess.
Yeah.
They had to take a day off.
I noticed they do seem to take days off on the holidays. I watched that for like last 3 years. They seem to take 1 day off at Christmas, Easter, sometimes even just 1 day off a week. Or at least a couple years ago, I noticed it seemed like they always took 1 day off on the weekend. But yeah, Easter was good, and as soon as Easter's over, by Easter Monday, they were spraying again. Actually, I saw some trails, and it's been like this ever since.
It'd be interesting for the network to look into what days they haven't been spraying. If we can get a good network going and putting all these videos together, because I've been traveling across Canada with Grasshopper Media, and in every city, in every major city, with an exception of only a very few, they're spraying everywhere, and people are doing time lapse videos. And that's another thing that Grasshopper Media is trying to do, is connect all these people, because we can all be friends. We can be friends on Facebook, but it's different once we become real friends, and these networks really start, because there's a movement, of course, in Vancouver. There's a great team of people out there, and then in Central Canada there's a smaller team, but they're working really hard, and they're doing time lapses just like Aaron and you. And once all this stuff comes together, I'm sure maybe later on we'll be able to look back at all this and get some answers.
Well, that's what's happening actually in Europe. The European Parliament's been they're on aircraft condensation trails, and they're talking so-called
condensation trail.
Yeah. So hopefully we can get that coming into our parliament. So if we get enough people raising questions, all we got to do is get people engaged in the administrative process too, and so they can begin writing their own letters to Parliament asking questions. So you've been traveling without a license across Canada. That's correct, right?
No, that's not true. I do have a license per se that is, like I have a license in my pocket that I could show to people. It is valid. However, about a month ago, it was February 8th exactly, I was pulled over and I was informed by an officer that my license was suspended. I had been traveling.
Suspended for?
For past due fines. Those fines were other things that I had tried to talked to the police about when they pulled me over, and I said that I did not agree and didn't want to go into contract. Not really. I've become much more educated over the last, very short amount of time, actually. It's not hard to get educated in this stuff. It really makes a lot of sense. A really good book is called Rights Denied. It's how our government has basically stolen our right to use our own highways that we pay for. We have the right to travel. Like in the olden days, people would just horse and buggy and stuff like that. Now everything that we're doing right now is just simply commerce. They're asking us to go into contract, and our ignorance of the fact that it is commerce, and you have the right to basically speak the truth about what it is that you're doing. And if you're not transporting anything, you're simply not driving. By definition, you are traveling. And
I can ask you a question though,
yeah,
Matt.
absolutely.
People, when this comes up, people always say, "Oh, these free men, they don't want to pay their fines and parking tickets, but that's how we fund the roads." That's what people think. People think that the highway system, making it and maintaining it is funded by tickets, but that's not true. Because
Absolutely not.
Roads,
Well,
you had roads before you had even had to have a driver's license.
the money system itself and what's going on, I know you had Mark Savory on there recently, and he made a lot of really good points about the money system and how it's all debt based. So much of the stuff that's going on is just a moving around of the actual credit that's being issued in everything. It's what does really build our roads is the materials that's used for that. There's quite a bit of commerce that makes that all possible, and that of course is all done through corporations, the same thing as your name written in all capital letters, which is written on your birth certificate.
Well, not mine, because mine's from Quebec.
Oh, is it all lowercase in Quebec?
No, it's like the first letter's uppercase.
Well, it's still by definition that is a name that's entitling a corporate fiction, which you assume.
On the birth certificate says it does give you a first and last name. It doesn't say given and family name. And only corporations have first and last names, from what I understand.
That's right. However, on most of the tickets nowadays that are being issued, it actually does say family name on there. So, there's a lot of paperwork that's going on, and it's what I said to the peace officer who actually pulled me over is that I've been deceived. I've learned that I've been deceived, and I don't want to be deceived anymore. And the little bit of information that I do know, I'm trying to work with that. I can't not be truthful to what I already know. Same thing as 9/11. I just need to be true to myself now that I know this for sure. What do you know for sure? What I know for sure is that I'm not doing commerce in my car. So I question the authority of, am I really driving? Because driving is a name or a label that's applied to the action of basically doing commerce in your car or in your vehicle by definition. The definition of vehicle is much easier to find, and it goes into these words, and it's just a game on words. Actually, the show that was on right before you guys was fantastic. I believe the guest's name was Richard Grove. He's talking. We've been deceived. We've absolutely been deceived. And we need to become historical researchers and historical teachers. And maybe even, with all these definitions of words, if you look into the word minister, it seems like a minister, by definition in the Black's Law Dictionary, is responsible to the king or other supreme magistrate who has appointed them. And basically, we all have a duty to exercise our rights for the future generations of the world. And this country, I don't know if it's even a country anymore. As far as my research has taken me, being a historical researcher, this Canada is a company, and it's listed as a United States security on the U.S. Not the stock exchange, the U.S. Securities and Exchanges.